Sure, you can always shop around for flooring, but in the end, it all leads back to the one place you probably should have started, the experts at Carpet One. Save yourself the time and the hassle and let Carpet One help you find the right product at the right price, beautifully installed, guaranteed. Come see the One, Carpet One, on the Business Loop in Columbia.
Good morning. Welcome to Radio Friends on Friday, September 30th. Can you believe the next time we say good morning, it's going to be October? I'm worried about that.
Trick or treat!
No, actually, I said that because that's one of our topics, worry and anger. We have Dr. David Newman with us from RoseHeart Hypnotherapy Success Center. And we said, let's talk about those two. Worry and anger or concern. What's the difference, first of all, between worrying, if you say I'm worried about something, or I'm concerned about something?
Okay, the biggest thing is when you worry about something, you're looking at a situation that you have no control over. There's nothing that you can do, which is exactly why you're worried about it, because you want to have a certain type of conclusion, but this is totally outside of your realm. I mean, you can't decide what happens. Concern is I'm looking at something that I can take some sort of action on. It may or may not affect the total outcome, but that's concern. Concern is extremely healthy. Worry is not so healthy.
Okay, so how do you train yourself? And I guess training is the right word. How do you train yourself? If you are a worrier, how do you tell yourself, hey, I got to stop this because no good is coming from it?
That one's a tough one. If you go through traditional therapy, you're only dealing with the cognitive portion of your mind or the frontal lobes, and that doesn't work so well. You really have to go into the subconscious and rewrite that life script, because much of the worrying aspect is actually a learned behavior that you learn from like 0 to age 14 from various authority figures you have, usually parents or aunts, uncles, people that you considered authority figures that worried a lot. And so that for you, that's a norm. That's your normal thing, and that's the way the whole world works. When I was in school one time, it was kind of an odd thing, but I was asked, okay, let's say that you meet a really great girl and you finally have dated and stuff like that, and you go to dinner. And in the process of the dinner, the family is very charming, they're very gregarious, but someone let it slip, and in reality, they're assassins, okay? Now, nothing happened, everything's fine. Now, the girl comes over to your house, and what she sees is a charming family, it's very nice, dad is an executive, mom's a librarian, everything's fine. Question, who's deviant? The answer is, if you're the boy, her family's deviant. They kill people. If you ask her, your family's deviant, because they don't. Worrying is the same thing. Worrying is something that you've learned. So for you, that's a normal. So everyone that doesn't worry is abnormal. In reality, what we have to do is get into the subconscious, rewrite that life script so that you look and say, here's a situation that there's nothing I can do. Fine, I'm going to go with that. I'm going to make the best out of it, and I'm going to take actions to protect myself or to change the way that this is going to affect me.
But don't worry.
But don't worry about this outcome because it's totally out of your control. There's nothing you can do about it. So, okay, if this happens, then I'll do this. If this happens, which is the other alternative, I'll do that. Either way, I'm going to be fine.
Okay, that's a concern.
That's a concern.
That's a concern. That's, well, as an example, we're in the middle of winter. You're supposed to go someplace, but there's a forecast for a massive snowstorm coming up. It's going to do no good to sit and worry about that snowstorm coming up. You just have to make plans with what you're going to do one way or the other.
That's right. If the snowstorm does hit before I leave, then this is my alternative plan. If it hits while I'm in the process of leaving, this is what I'm going to do. Okay. And if it doesn't happen, this is what I'm going to do.
All right. Now, let's turn to anger. How big a problem is anger with people?
Anger is, it's really a large problem, especially here in central Missouri. And there's a couple of reasons for that. But the biggest reason is you have the people who worry, okay, that constantly relive this over and over and over. And because it's out of their control, they feel very, very frustrated, and the frustration turns into two things. One is it turns into aggression and then turns into anger. Because I'm just not going to take this anymore. Something has to be done. This isn't right. And one of the things that I do when I work with clients is I sit down there and go, there is no right, there is no wrong. You know, stop looking at that, because when you look at this isn't fair, you're putting yourself in a victim role. Somebody else has the control. No. Make it for yourself. I'm doing the very best I can with the knowledge that I have at the present time, and this is the best decision I can make. Now I'm in control. And I can't control what you do. You go ahead and you counter that move, and then I counter that move. And the end result is we're both going to get somewhere in the middle, kind of what we want.
Well, isn't that negotiating?
That is negotiating.
Are you negotiating with yourself when you're doing things?
Always. My father used to say that life is nothing but a series of negotiations. And you're either negotiating with yourself or you're negotiating with somebody else. But either way, you're negotiating. And with myself, am I negotiating out of fear? In other words, my knee-jerk reaction is this, and I don't like that. I want to distance myself from that and make it this. Or do I sit down there and go, you know what? No, this isn't that bad, because if I do this, this, and this, it's going to minimize any damage that's done that way. And at the same time, that may not happen. So I'm going to go ahead and plan for this.
You know, so many times we think that bad things are happening, but after it's happened and you work things out, you find it was for the best after all.
That's right. Well, that's when we get into what's called perceptions. Okay, and if you listen to, oh gosh, a bunch of people, Greg Bryden is great when he talks about changing your perceptions. Again, like I said, there's no good, there's no bad, it just is a matter of perception. You know, my Aunt Molly died, that's horrible. Well, maybe, but might not. Yes, it's horrible because we're going to miss Aunt Sally, and this, and this, and this. But at the same time, flip it over to the other side. What was in the best interest for Aunt Sally? Maybe she was in extreme pain. Maybe she was extremely ill and she wasn't having good quality of life. There's a whole bunch of things. It's all on your perception.
Mm-hmm. That's a good way at looking at things.
And you change your perception, and all of a sudden you change what's inside of you.
Yeah.
You get rid of the worry and the anger.
People want information on any of this, they can contact you.
Sure. Call our toll-free number, 888-604-9997, or stop by our website at www.mohyp.com and drop us a line.
Okay, we're almost out of time, sure. But what is the biggest mistake that we make, that stands in the way of happiness?
Having a false idea of what happiness is. Too many people will sit down there and have very, very grandiose ideas. If I had $1 million, if I had this beautiful mansion, if I had this, they work for it, and then what they find out is when I have that, I'm not happy.
It's not as
I've got
special.
a totally different set now of issues.
Right. Simplicity sometimes brings the happiness.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah. Dr. David Newman, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me.
Pleasure having you here on this Friday. Monday, we're back with consumer and travel tips and Talking Horse production. Want to remind you, our program directed by Travis McMillen, Reynolds Journalism Institute Audio, Pat Akers, KBIA. Our flow director is Zach Sayer, and our assistant producer and guest coordinator, Uncle James Mouser. Bye-bye.